away, days burn, disintegrate, years roll along and fade. Don't let them slip away. Right here, right now, today. These are the good old days. Right here, right now, today. Hey, these are the good old days.
When Hasbro relaunched the G.I. Joe line in 1982 under the Real American Hero banner, they created one of the biggest action figure ranges of all time. The sheer amount of figures we got was staggering. And not only did we get a crazy amount of figures, we got a crazy amount of vehicles as well. And the vehicles ranged in size from motorcycles to aircraft carriers and everything in between. Now, we all had our favorites, but for me, it was the mid-sized vehicles, the Ostriker, the Vamp, the Wolverine, that really I found the most play value in. And one of those vehicles that I never had but always wanted was the Slugger. Now, recently, a good friend of mine, Taverco, gifted me a Slugger that needs some attention. And because in a few short days we're going to be driving down to Augusta, Georgia for Joefest, I figured there's no better time to take this vehicle and see if we can't get it back ready for the battlefield.
Cobra Rattler, it's the wickedest weapon yet, you know. Rattler's gonna get G.I. Joe.
Introducing the Cobra Rattler.
Super missiles! Rattler's gonna stop Joe!
G.I. Joe, American
It's the Rattlers!
G.I. Joe's there.
We're outnumbered! That belongs! Joe!
Cobra Rattler comes with pilot. Other G.I. Joe and Cobra figures and equipment sold separately from Hasbro.
Alright, so here is our Slugger, and it's, as you can see, in pretty decent shape. It's missing a few things, though. It has this compartment back here, but it's missing its personnel hatch. It's missing the front-mounted machine gun. It's missing the stabilizer around the rear. And it's missing the axle there. We do actually have, for this, but the missing wheel, we have that missing wheel. But we need an axle for it. So what we're going to do is go to our 3D space and make up an axle for this wheel. Now that we have this pin axle made up, we're also going to just steal part of the design, alter it a bit to make a pin for that personnel hatch. Alright, so now we're just going to see if our axle fits here, and this wheel should spin nice and free. Beautiful. So what we're going to do is this little part that's sticking at the back that's a little bit smaller, you're going to take a drill and just drill a hole into the existing piece of plastic, just like that. And I have to shorten the axle a little bit, but it should just plug right in there. And so we can put the wheel on there and just glue that into place, and it should be nice and stable. But first we're going to paint the top of the axle so it matches the rest of the green on the Slugger. And I'd say we have a pretty decent paint match there. So what we're going to just do is take a little bit of this Gorilla Glue, and we're going to apply it on the outer ring and the inside of this drilled out hole here, so that our axle will fit snug and have lots of seal on there. And it should be just a perfect solution. So get the glue along the outside of the ring and on the inside there, and then when we put our axle into the wheel, beautiful, it should just slide right in there and be a perfect fit. So once we get that in there and hold it there for 30 seconds, it's we've got a little bit of play there, but it spins nice and free, and I don't think you can really notice a difference. Now the next part that we're going to work on with this slugger is the rear stabilizer that goes right into these slots here in the back, and it kind of looks like this right here. So we're going to go into our 3D space and see if we can't make a little rear stabilizer. Alright, now here's our rear stabilizer. Now I was going to paint it green, but I actually think it kind of looks cool in black against the green. So I think, for now anyways, I'm just going to leave it black and make it kind of pop that way. So we just depress these little tabs here, pop open our slugger, and this should just fit right in to the grooves there, and I think we're going to be in good shape. Now next up is the personnel hatch. So we are going to use the blueprints and go into PowerPoint and make up our own version of that. We're going to make a template for it in PowerPoint and then import that template into the 3D space and edit it there. Alright, so here's our personnel hatch, and I think it looks good and it's gonna fit properly. It's just yellow, so we're gonna take it over and paint it up to make it match the slugger. And after we're done painting it, it looks and it matches just great. And it'll fit on there nicely, and we're just going to take that original pin that we made when we made our axle, and that should fit right into the spot there for it, and we should have a working personnel hatch. Now the last thing we're going to make up is the front mounted machine gun, and we are going to go into our 3D space and make one of those up. Alright, and here is our front-mounted machine gun, and if we did our job properly, it should just fit right into the slot here for it. Very good, it fits right in there nice and snug. That's perfect. Now, the driver for this Slugger was a fella named Thunder. Now, I don't have a Thunder, but luckily I'm heading down to Joefest, so I'm just going to add him to the Joefest list. And once I get down there, I can find myself a Thunder and add him to this Slugger. But until I'm able to find a Thunder at Joefest, my man Chuckles will have to just man Slugger for us in the meantime, and he seems pretty excited to do so.
So there you go. There's our restoration of the G.I. Joe Slugger, just in time for Joefest. If you like what we're doing here, if you're having as much fun as we are, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the YouTube stuff, leave a comment. If you want to, you can follow us on Patreon. But hopefully we see you back here for the next video. Or maybe in Augusta.